Hi guys, this is a brief flip video on revising your Newsela CECC to make sure it's your best work before you submit it. Here we are not looking at MLA format, we are mostly looking at your ideas, okay? Your claim, evidence, commentary, and conclusion. You want to have out 3 tabs, okay? You want to have your Newsela CECC essay, you want to have out these slides, right here, that are part of this video, and you want to have your Newsela article out, okay? You just want those 3 tabs, okay? Now the first thing I'd like you to, first let's go over why we're doing this. Whenever you write, it's important to go back and revise your work to make it better. It's just like going back and checking your work in math, okay? So the first thing I want you to do is highlight the claim, evidence, commentary, and conclusion of your CECC. Highlight your claim in pink, highlight your evidence in green, highlight your commentary in yellow, highlight your conclusion in orange, okay? So that's what I did here with my essay. Go ahead and pause this video and do the same thing with your essay. Highlight your claim in pink, your evidence in green, your commentary in yellow, and your conclusion in orange. All right, so hopefully you finished highlighting all the different parts of your essay. Now let's focus on the claim. So first we're gonna look at the claim in my essay and how we can change it, and then you're gonna go back and do the same thing with the claim in your essay. Okay, so for the claim, the first thing is ask yourself if it answers the question, what could your class do to help Cooper's mission? Another way to say this is, what could your class do to help Cooper students grow, okay? We're not talking about physically growing, we're talking about growing into better people, okay? So let's go ahead and look at that. Let me look at my claim and see, does it answer the question of how, what I could do to help Cooper students grow, okay? The 7th grade class could get rid of grades, so that's what we could do, because then kids at Cooper would be less stressed out and could chill and have fun. Okay, so it's saying if we got rid of grades, kids would be less stressed out. But is that explaining how, no, hold on a sec. Is that explaining how getting rid of grades would help kids grow? No. So we need to change this to something that would help explain how it would help kids grow. So we could say, because then kids at Cooper would enjoy learning more. Okay, say that. So here I'm saying what the 7th grade class could do, get rid of grades, and how it would help kids grow. It would make them enjoy learning more, okay? So go ahead and pause here and look at your own claim. Does it answer the question, what could your class do to help Cooper students grow? All right, hopefully you've looked at your own claim and made sure it answered the question how your change would help Cooper students grow. Okay, let's look at the second thing we want to do with our claim. We want to make sure it is only one sentence and not a run-on sentence, okay? The claim that I have here is just one sentence and it's not a run-on. It's not going on and on, okay? We're not giving away all the details of our essay in our claim. We're just giving a general summary of what the whole essay will be about, okay? So go ahead and pause here, look at your own claim, and see if it's just one sentence and not a run-on. Okay, now we're moving on to our evidence, okay? So the first thing with evidence is to ask ourselves, did I introduce my quote? Okay, you can't just plop a quote in. You have to assume whoever's reading your essay has not read the article before. So what do you need to tell them so that they better understand the quote? So let me look at my evidence. Did I introduce my quote? Here's my claim, there's my quote. Is there any introduction in between them? No, so I need to add one, okay? Let me look at my quote. But because she doesn't emphasize grades, her students can focus on what interests them without fear of failure. So if someone was reading my CECC, but they'd never read the article before, they'd be like, whoa, what is this? Who is she? Okay, so that's why I want to go back into my article and find some background information about this quote, okay? So this quote was about this teacher who doesn't use grades, and actually I can just look at the caption here. It tells me, Teacher Lynn Barrett, okay? So what I can do is say here, an example of this is in Lynn in teacher Lynn Barrett's classroom. Okay, so now I have an introduction to my quote. All right, I'd like you to pause the video here. Go ahead and check your evidence. Did you put an introduction before you put in your quote? All right, next, does your quote actually support your claim? Okay, so let's look at, so again, my claim is that if we got rid of grades, it would help kids at Cooper enjoy learning more. So let me see if that, if my quote would back that up. But because she doesn't emphasize grades, her students can focus on what interests them without fear of failure. Well, it's talking about what interests them and not being afraid of failure, so it sounds like that's more enjoyable than traditional learning. So yeah, I would say this quote backs up my claim. Okay, so go ahead and pause here, look at your quote, and then look at your claim. Does your quote actually support your claim? All right, the last part of the evidence is to see that you have an in-text citation, okay? So at the end of your quote. So I don't have an in-text citation here, so I need to fix that. Okay, so first I get rid of this period because the period will actually go after the in-text citation. I make a parentheses. Now I need to go back to the article and see who wrote it. Okay, it says by Orlando Sentinel. So that's actually the name of a newspaper, but here it's okay to just write out that newspaper name. So I'll write Orlando Sentinel, and then you're supposed to put the page number, but Newsela articles don't have a page number, so you can just put 1, okay, and then period. All right, so go ahead and pause here. Now look at your evidence and whether you have an in-text citation in it. All right, next up is commentary. So the first thing with commentary is, does your first sentence explain what the quote means? So let me go back to mine. Okay, so again, the quote was, but because she doesn't emphasize grades, her students can focus on what interests them without fear of failure. So let me see if my first sentence of my commentary explains what that quote means. Because these students do not have to worry about getting bad grades, they can take risks and make more mistakes. Okay, so go ahead and pause here. So yes, my first sentence of my commentary actually does explain my quote. So what I would like you to do is go ahead and pause and look at whether the first sentence of your commentary explains what your quote means. All right, next is, do your other sentences explain how your evidence supports your claim? Okay, so let me look at my other sentences in my commentary and if they support my claim. So more risks and mistakes can lead them to learn more and explore more intimidating subjects. This is good because they're learning more. Okay, so I'm talking about how they would learn more, but that's not my claim. My claim is that learning would become more enjoyable for them. So I need to think of a way to say this. So I can say, because they don't have to, or let's see, because there's no worry about failing and kids can learn about topics they're curious about, learning is more fun. Okay, so here I'm connecting them learning more and not having to worry about failing to how that would make learning more fun. Okay. So go ahead and pause and ask yourself, do the other sentences in your commentary explain how your evidence supports your claim? All right. Last thing with your commentary, does every sentence say something new, or are you just repeating the same thing over and over? Okay. Let's look at what we have here. Because these students do not have to worry about getting bad grades, they can take more risks and make more mistakes. More risks and mistakes can lead them to learn more and explore more intimidating subjects. Because there's no worry about failing and kids can learn about topics they're curious about, learning is more fun. this is good because they're learning more. Okay, I don't really need this last sentence because I've already said that they're learning more, okay, and how that's good. So this is repetitive. So I want to get rid of anything that is repetitive, okay? So I'd like you to do the same thing. Pause here. Make sure every single sentence in your commentary is saying something new. It's not repeating what the sentence before it said. Okay, last is our conclusion. Does your conclusion restate the claim? Okay, so basically our conclusion should be saying the same thing as our claim, but in different words. So let's look. In conclusion, getting rid of grades at Cooper would make kids associate learning with fun and exploration rather than judgment, which would turn them into lifelong learners. Okay. Is that basically saying the same thing as the 7th grade class could get rid of grades because then kids at Cooper would enjoy learning more? I would say they're pretty similar. It is basically restating the claim, okay? So go ahead and pause your video right here and look at whether your conclusion restates your claim. Okay, last part. Does your conclusion restate the claim using different words? So let me look back at my conclusion. It's saying the same thing as my claim, but it's using different words. So for me, that is a yes. Okay? Go ahead and pause your video and make sure that your conclusion restates your claim in different words.